So here we are. It's episode 16 of the Tennessee Titans UK Fans podcast. Once again, I'm joined by James and David. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Hi.
So this podcast is your home across the pond for all things two-tone blue. Yes, the Titans fell 30-24 to the Seahawks yesterday, but don't let that scoreline fool you. This team showed some real grit. The fourth quarter surge had us all on the edge of our seats. I was really on the edge of my seat in that last few minutes. And if there's one thing we've learned, this squad has fight. And how about Cam Ward? The rookie showed poise, confidence, and flashes of exactly why there's so much excitement around him at the moment. If this is just the beginning, the Titans fans, we've got a lot to look forward to. So grab your tea, coffee, your beverage of choice, sit down, break it down with us, and we'll enjoy the next 40 minutes talking Titans. So first of all, I'd just like to say happy birthday to James, who's joined us on his birthday today. So I'm sure you had better things to do than join us, but thanks for coming to talk positive about the Titans.
I'll do my best.
So I'm going to kick it off first. My thoughts of the game. That first drive, I know I spoke too early on Facebook where I said this is going good, and then it all fell apart. We only got the 3 points. But that first drive, we executed everything so well. We were pushing forward, and I thought, do you know what? We can see the team's been working. They're gelling. Things are looking good now. And I thought, yeah, maybe we're going to win this week. And we got the 3 points, and I thought, okay, we still got a score, so it's still good. Then from there, it just seemed to fall apart for some reason. It was like almost like we gave up. Then as we got to that fourth quarter, that surge at the end, I was really excited. You know, part of me thinks if there was a few minutes left of the game, potentially we could have gone and won that. And the Seahawks are a good team. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to go for the Titans, but I think the team showed a lot of growth in the team. Like as if they had some sort of plan. If we just had a really good head coach and a few more pieces added to the jigsaw, maybe we're going to get there with it. So in the end, 30-24, I think the Seahawks did give up a little bit in that fourth quarter. I think they thought they've won the game, which probably helped us a little bit in all honesty. But I was quite entertained. I keep saying to you guys and everyone else I speak to, especially on TikTok, 'cause I'm getting a lot of hassle on there. I keep saying, there's a way to lose. If we're going to have a losing season, go down battling, which I thought yesterday we went down with a battle. So it was an enjoyable game. DK, brilliant. Is it Proust, the other guy, lots of plays. Restrepo. Oh, when he nearly got that, the twice he nearly got the touchdown. I was like, I know everyone's got different opinions on him. I know there's this big hype about him. But to be fair, when I was watching the game, you could see he was kind of running into positions. He was just, I know people say he's not fast enough, but yet he was thinking, I've got to be there. And he got there somehow, like silently. So he's got me all excited. Maybe I'll have an 87 Restrepo jersey next season. So guys, what are your thoughts on the game? Were you as entertained as I was?
Yeah, it was a very entertaining game. I mean, as has gone the most of the season, you think the game's gone and there's a little bit of play around and be good. But you always thought there was a chance. The downside really was the defense sort of seemed not to bother turning up until the final quarter. They gave up far too many easy plays, but it was very exciting. I mean, the DK return and the punt return, it was actually so brilliant. You thought when you watched it, if he gets to the outside, we've got a chance. And then you see, just someone needs to block this bloke in front. Yes, he's blocked, and he's all the way there, and that was really good. And I thought, Cam had probably his best game that he's had for the Titans. In fact, I noticed that in the first 6 games he had a rating of 64 or something like that. The last 5 games, his rating's been 94, which is what you sort of expect from a rookie. So, it's certainly been improved over the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And I think for most people, it was quite nice to see Restrepo out there. And as you say, with the one he caught from Cam when Cam was being chased and he managed to find him. And when you saw it again, Restrepo, rather than just stand still and maybe move a little, he was moving left, moving right, and got into a nice space when there was no one around, and couldn't get it a good catch. It was unfortunate, obviously, not to get the catch, which was ruled back for a holding penalty, which was another good reception. And I think he was a bit taller. He might have caught the one in the end zone for a touchdown. He was just a little bit too short, I think. But all in all, it was a good game.
I think it's one of those what I call a for the situation we're in is the perfect game. We saw growth from Cam, and we're seeing him use his feet, which is what I've been saying all
Mm.
along. I want to see him move. We want to see him scramble, make those. If there's nothing on, scramble and try and like get continue the play and make some yardage up. And so we're not just throwing the ball away or throwing it to trying to force a pass. He scrambled and he did really well. And I think he led the team in rushing yards
Yeah,
yesterday, which is not good. That's a whole different story. I don't. I know I see a lot of people blaming and kind of slating Pollard a little bit. Spears didn't do much yesterday either, and Pollard's not a bad running back. He went for 1K yards last year. So you don't just forget how to play. I think it's just more the O line just not blocking well enough. We have come up against some really strong D lines. So uh, what Cam's faced the last 2 weeks has been very, very good defenses. So it was it was good. It was nice to see him play better. Let's say he was more sensible with the plays, like extended plays. It was good throws, good passes, but also it was as everyone said, it was an exciting game, but we lost, which is going to be very different from what David's going to say. Is I'm glad we lost. Is we need to keep those losses going, but I want to see us play well in those losses. So for me, that's a perfect it was a perfect game. We saw everyone play well. We saw the offense click better. We know what DK can do, but it was enough to get you excited and think, okay, we are turning a corner here. We're starting to get this bit of momentum going, and I want to go ahead like Helm. I've been saying all along, let's get these tight
mm.
ends involved more in the game, and they were involved more. Um, Everyone loves Restrepo, so everyone's been banging on about him coming in. So it was nice to see those pieces come together. But again, keeping that loss, keeping us that first pick. If the other teams start picking up results, like I think the Browns won, so that's good. And if they pick up, we can get one more. We can get one more win. But I just want that number one pick again. And it's purely just a trade away. We just need trade value, and that's it. It sounds like I'm really negative, but I just I just want that for the benefit of the Titans. I feel like we need that number one pick. We need it to be able to trade back and get ourselves a haul for this year and next year.
I mean, I
See that?
understand the need to lose, but I thought I'd be happy to see them win. I don't. I mean, if it worst comes to worst and you don't end up with the first three picks, you know, that's tough. Yeah, but I'd rather be happy on a Sunday afternoon this season than, than be really disappointed.
But we were all happy after that result. That's the thing. That's why I
Oh,
say it's a
yeah.
perfect result. It was we lost, we kept the number one seed, and we were all like, "Ah, we played really well. That was a good game to play." And it wasn't like some other quarterback we who gets all the hype that just beat the Raiders. We played really well against a top team. And I know we lost to the Raiders, but we are a really, really bad team. We're not in the bracket of what the Browns are. We are in a completely different ball game. So for us to can be competitive against the Texans and be competitive against the Seahawks, it's good. It's what we want to see. I want to see that growth, but I want to just keep that number one pick.
But it's also about though that we draw. It's the way you draft because I mean, DK and Helm were fourth round picks, and they look to be really good players. So you
Yeah,
don't necessarily have to. Yeah, you can pick. You have three first. I mean, the Jets had three first rounds and two the next year, a couple of years ago, and they're still a team at the bottom. If you don't pick right,
exactly.
yeah.
We've blown numerous first round picks, so the luck's not on our side in the first round. So it would be
Traylon Burks.
yeah, okay, Farley, Isaiah Wilson, the list goes on. But it would just be nice to. I just feel like we've got so many pieces, and it was quite clear on the defensive side that we need pieces
Yeah.
to cover elite wide receivers. We need a top end cornerback that's going to keep up with JSN. We need someone that's going to be competitive against Chase, the Jeffersons, someone that's going to break up plays and be that focal point that's going to lock up the top end wide receivers. Once you've got a top end cornerback, that you would suggest is going to lock up with the number one wide receiver, the rest you can kind of work it out themselves. But you just need that piece. And I say we need edge threats. We just got so many pieces that I feel. I understand it would be nice to have a win. It'd be nice for the momentum, the morale. You don't want the whole team just going and constantly getting beaten all the time. You want them to get that happiness and euphoria of winning, just not at the expense of the future of the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the issues. I mean, I saw a TikTok the other day. I think Buck Ryson is his name. He was involved in some comments made online about the draft and what needs to happen. And I think that is something. Although it's going to be good for us last season and this season, it is frustrating that effectively, James, you're giving up on the season. And we are kind of thinking, well, let's lose competitively, and it kind of ruins it a little bit because, we pay a lot of money for Game Pass, and the fans who go to the grounds, they pay thousands of dollars just for season tickets, the whole thing. And I think it is something the NFL I think needs to address, maybe to. But you don't want all the good players to keep going to the good teams, so it's a nice good system. But it's almost like they need. I mean, I've said this a few times on here. I personally think there should be like a playoff. The bottom four teams play out the first four picks, so the big teams don't get the number one pick every time. They don't get the best players. But I don't know. It's something that needs
It'd be a
addressing.
nil-nil score. They would
Well,
want
no,
to win, would they?
but it would be interesting if like the team who finished last, who dreadful, were then told, right, you've got to play the team that finished fourth last, and you might lose first pick. It would be suddenly interesting how these teams suddenly would perform overnight, and they'd be coached better. So that would be quite interesting to see how bad these teams really are, because as annoying as it sounds, there's no incentive now for the Titans or the Jets, for example, to win any more games this season. And if you're I know people always say, well, teams won't go out there to lose, but you know, it's got to be in the back of their mind, isn't it? You're thinking of the next season. Once the season's written off, you're thinking of the next season. But I don't know. I guess that's a topic for a post-season podcast, I think, to discuss the draft and what they need to do going forward. So we'll move on from that, because I could talk all night about that, because something isn't right with the system. It's a good system, but it needs tweaking, or it needs something doing to stop teams, losing the entire season. But no, definitely some positives
last
yesterday.
year, though, the Giants could have lost and taken the number. They would have been the number one pick. Although the last 2 weeks they won the last 2 weeks, so I don't think players go out there thinking about what's happening next year.
But you might find the coaches might do the tactics slightly different that week.
I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because was it the Texans a few years ago won their last game, which then stopped them from being the number one pick, and then the coach got fired, I think, straight afterwards. For whatever reason that may have been, whether they wanted the number one pick or not. And it's that balance, isn't it? The players are going to want to win. The organization's probably going to want to win, but the fans, it would be nice to have an insight of what the GMs, what they want. Obviously, I think they're going to say they want a successful team. They want a team that's going to keep winning, and you just build of what you've got. At the end of the day, as people say, if we draft well now, if we draft well, then it doesn't matter if we pick up a couple more wins. I think it's just that in your head that we got so many holes. You want to have as many good players as possible, all rookies, all in your on contracts, like long contracts that we could just time down for 3 or 4 years and build. And that's what you want to see. You want to see it build. When you've been through the rough, you want to see that growth. And it's a hard way of thinking that you want to lose, but.
See, in business, you've got to do what's right, haven't you? You've got to do what's right for the business long term.
You are torn, and I would be lying if I said that in the Texans game and the Seahawks game, when it come to the end, I I would be lying if I said I was happy afterwards because you're sitting there going, "Come on, we could do this. You could do this." And then once the game's over, you're like, "Nah, cool. It's one number one pick. We're just one more game closer." But during the game, you do want to win, and it's that hard balance, and it's rewarding failure. The weird concept to get your head around.
Well, that's it. I mean, you want them to lose, but when DK was making that run, everyone in my house was looking at me. I was like, run! I was like, go! I was like, come on! And, initially I thought he's only going to get halfway up, and once he got halfway, I was like, hang on, this guy's going, this guy's going, this guy's going, and I lost control. No idea what my neighbour thought of me next door. He must have thought I was murdering somebody, maybe. I was like, come on, you gotta go, go. No matter how much you kind of think, oh, you don't want to win, but when they start attacking, you just want that passion. You're sitting there waiting for. That's what I love about American football. Is I mean, a lot of my friends, they're like, oh, I don't understand American football. I don't get it. It's really boring. And I'm like, you have moments in the game where it's not very exciting, and then you have that Hollywood moment, don't you? How many times during a game, maybe not as a Titans fan, but during like big games for the NFL, do you get that Hollywood moment when your guy catches that ball one-handed as he keeps in play or they do a 90-yard run to get a touchdown? And it's, in theory, it's quite a simple game, American football, but, these things don't happen all the time. So it's such an exciting game. And as much as you want them not to win, you can't control yourself when you watch it live, can you? Especially when you get into it.
Well, I will let on a secret. Today, my birthday, my wife treated me out to a meal. We went to what's it called? Hickory Smokehouse. Other smokehouses are available. But we went there and it's like a Southern American barbecue place. Amazing food, amazing food. And as we were leaving, I was wondering, I was like, oh, do you know what would be really good if they did like TVs and you could watch NFL, you could watch NASCAR and ice hockey, all that sort of American sports sort of stuff. I went around the corner, there's a little bar area with loads of TVs on there. And there was a photograph of Derek Henry in there celebrating, and behind it, the banners that said Titans win. I was like, oh man, I miss those days.
Yeah. What the Derrick Henry days, or just the fact we won a game?
Yeah, bit of both, bit of both.
So, right. Do we want to continue talking about yesterday's defeat, or would we want to move on from there? Are we happy with that?
I mean,
Well, the one thing, oh, yeah, go on in.
oh no, I was going to say, I mean, the offensive line has to improve somewhat this because Cam's not going to be able to pass the way to victory that often. I mean, they're 25 yards rushing on 14 attempts. I mean, I thought last week was bad. This week was even worse. And they couldn't convert three goes from the two goes from the 1 yard line again, which was really
Got
bad.
to change, isn't it? It's got, was it one? Pollard averaged 1.8 yards, Spears 1.3, Chestnut 1.5, and then Cam Ward 6.2.
Yeah.
That's bad. The thing is, though, quite clearly the running game's not working for us at the moment with Spears and Pollard. So you kind of think, well, if it's not working for us, what? I know we've got to keep trying different tactics, but why are we trying it? Let's just say to Ward, as long as you don't get sacked, try play the passing game a bit more. Try to avoid because I said yesterday on the group, is Pollard not very good, or are we not coaching him very well? Are we not using him very well? Everyone kind of said he wasn't very good, but like you said before, he got 1,000 yards last season. You don't go bad overnight, do you? So
I don't think he's. I don't think he's bad. He's just not. I mean,
he's just in a bad team.
When the Seahawks had the ball and the linemen are moving out and getting into space and giving space to run through. I mean, Pollard and Spears just had nowhere to go through. They were getting hit behind the line and making short gains. I mean, apart from one, I think he managed to make a reasonable move. And I don't know why they persist in these cam handoffs where the bloke runs from the outside and he passes it forward to him and they get about -1 yard on 2 attempts. It's just a waste. They play football a bit more, not too, simple. Yeah, not too much of this trying to make, uh, odd plays and such like.
It's nice to see them try something different though, not just be the same all the time. But like you said, every time they were doing it, they were kind of like not going forward, and it's like quite clearly today it isn't working. So try someone else. But yeah, they seem to want to keep persistent, don't they, with those things?
Yeah.
I think you've got to have an element of keep trying the run game. It's frustrating, but the problem is if you just go back to just throwing, you become predictable, and they'll just sit in cover, and you then struggle just to find the players open. We've got to have that element. They always say the run game complements the passing game, and vice versa. If one starts working, then it open up spaces for the other thing to work. And it's definitely you have to get that run game established, then open up the lanes for the passing game,
Hmm.
just to create the space. So you just don't want to become predictable. So it's one of those things they just got to keep trying and trying and trying and trying. I'm surprised Mullins is off IR, so I was surprised they didn't put
Yeah,
him
he
and
wasn't in
try and
yesterday,
see
wasn't
what
he?
because he's a bit of a workhorse running back. So it'd be nice to see someone a bit more with a bit more physicality, just pounding that defensive line.
Well, I don't think he'll be getting, when he comes back, hopefully he'll be part of the squad next week. He probably won't get a lot of carries for a week or two because they don't want to put him in, and do 30 carries. He gets another injury and he's out for the season. So
Yeah.
they want to make him last for the rest of the last 6 games. So he'll be slowly used, I think.
Oh,
But
last
at
six
the moment,
games.
quite likely
How
still
how
be.
how sad was that comment? The last six games. We're already over halfway through the
I
season,
know.
and the end is in sight. And then we've got to go from January to September with no, well, I said pretty much August of the preseason, but preseason, if we look this year, means nothing. It's such a big window, isn't it? So that's a very sad comment there. But there
Yeah.
we go.
Do you think
But
the with Restrepo, do you have this feeling it's a bit like Jack Grealish for England when Southgate was manager? And you got the World Cup, you literally you're screaming out for something that's going to change the game, and you're like, Jack Grealish could be that player. And then Southgate's like, no, I'm the manager. I'm not going to let the fans dictate to me who should play and who shouldn't play. So he just didn't play him. Do you feel like it's the same with Restrepo? He's had a good game. He showed up. The fans have been wanting him, going, yeah, we need Restrepo. We need Restrepo. Him and Cam are going to set the world on fire. And then he's played well, and then they're going to be like, is he going to go back to the practice squad? Or is he going to stay on the team? Is it going to be like, oh,
Ginsey will be back in again. You watch.
yeah, yeah,
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's done himself no harm at the end of the day, and I think maybe you are right. There might be a bit of, I mean, I always look at it sometimes where some football players, I'm sure we'll go back to, we'll say soccer, which obviously caused me a problem earlier on TikTok, as you saw. I don't want to use that word, do I really? But I'm sure was it Paul Merson? I can't remember who it was now, or Robert Prozinecki at Portsmouth. Those players didn't train. They didn't train very well. But then he always said that on match day, I'll come good. And to be fair, they were great players. They did come good. Sometimes some players they do it on the pitch, and I think Restrepo proved that. I know college in America, in NFL is different. It's there's a massive step forward. But maybe he doesn't show it necessarily in training, or maybe he did need 12 weeks to get trained up to be more physical and better for the NFL, and he's got to that stage now. I don't know, but maybe he's one of these raw players that just gets on the pitch and that's where he performs better. I don't know, but it will be interesting to see if McCoy brings him back. I think he'd be a silly man not to,
Yeah.
because it keeps the fans happy. And it's an easy win in a losing season, isn't it?
we said last week it was like it would have been like Cam's safety blanket, and it just proved it in that play when he scrambled out to the right, and then he found
Well, he
Restrepo.
flung it like that.
The one is like
Going absolutely nowhere, flung it sideways. Which, if another quarterback, we won't mention his name because we'll get in trouble, did it, we'd be screaming at him for. But yeah, he did it and it worked, didn't it?
well, it's the crossbody. Like, they say don't do crossbodies, and they always say that was it first. Cam's first touchdown was the crossbody throw, and they're like, don't throw crossbody. And he does it so well, and you say just Restrepo just found that space, and it had that moment of where he scrambled out. You think, oh, this is going to go nowhere. He's either going to run out of play or he's just going to throw it away, kind of thing. and he threw it to Restrepo, who's an egg as a space. And I just had that moment where it was like that was exactly like the Mahomes Kelsey like relationship. I'm not saying we're on that level, but it was just that understanding of knowing how what Cam can do, where he's going to throw it, and Cam was at that moment was like, "There's no one on Restrepo somewhere down there," and just they just found it. It's like that chemistry is what you look for, and I think that's so important for us. It doesn't matter if you're fast. I say with Kelsey, he's not a fast guy. It's just sensible route running and sensible footballing brain that you just know where to go.
I think when Cameron's done those throws, because you mentioned the Iron Manor one and he did one in over, he's actually thrown when someone's been open and he's thrown where it can't be caught by anybody else, which is what you want. I mean, you don't want him just to throw it up for grabs
Mm.
and you get a turnover. I mean, Restrepo was on the field, but for the first few plays, but the ball was never thrown to him. It was only until the fourth quarter or so that he was actually had the ball thrown to him. Which is quite an impressive amount. I think you don't. Some players don't, as you say, don't show themselves in the practice. I mean, especially if you're on the practice team, for the play. So you play against the full defense, and you don't play so much against, they don't play full defense against full attack. They play the practice people against the good people. So they don't always, have a good quarterback thrown to them, and so they don't always show that they are better than they are. I think he has the skill. I think, that, as I said before, that he manages to get open, and you don't need speed to do that always. You just need to have a good brain and just find the spots. Because
Well, yeah, just be in the
most of
right
the
place at
defenders
the right
have their
time, isn't
eyes
it?
on the quarterback and not necessarily watching what you're doing. You just take a step this way, a step that way, and soon you're, as you say, with Kelsey, he's
Exactly. Yeah.
So are we all in favour then that Restrepo should be given
yeah,
another
most
chance
definitely.
then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's done himself any
I
harm,
mean,
has he?
the thing is, if you're having a winning season, it's hard. I can understand then why it's hard to incorporate a play like that when you've got a winning season because it's difficult to get these players in. But when there's nothing to lose, well, yeah, you just got to give him a chance and hopefully. I mean, like I say, he didn't come in till late, did he? Was it the third quarter he came in? I think.
Yeah, well,
I think he got.
His first
I
time.
noticed his number on in a few of the early plays. He was on the field, but he was just sort of blocking for
Yeah, he wasn't
somebody,
getting
that
involved,
sort
was
of
he?
thing.
Such.
Yeah.
I feel a bit bad for like the other wide receivers. Um, like what Prosh is it Prosh? What's the name?
Mm,
He
yeah, I can't
played
say
well,
either.
and
Crochet, I think.
you feel a bit bad because he actually did play really well, and he caught some open balls. That Oliver guy was it last year caught a really big touchdown towards the end of the season. I think it was the last touchdown. I think maybe. But things like at the moment, it feels like an open competition for the wide receiver four slot. We've got wide receiver two, wide receiver three being Chim and Iron Manor because I don't see Jefferson staying. Ridley probably not is going to
Mm.
get cut, so we need a wide receiver one, but the rest is fair game, and I say it just it is at the moment it's just open house for competition for places, and you think these people like the only person that's really done themselves any sort of favor, I think, to be re-signed is Chig. I don't think Pollard's done enough. I don't think Ridley. Well, no, they're not at the end, but they've not done anything to warrant us not cutting them. And all the other players haven't really done enough to warrant us to keep them or extend them or anything. So it's I think it's just open house. It's players just got to play for themselves now and think about their NFL futures, which is good for us because you think all different types of players will be receiving the ball. And I just want Chig to stay. I think he's played well this year, considering.
Well, Jefferson's only on a 1 year contract, so he's not going to be resigned. So
Mm.
you could actually say, well, why bother having him out there now? Let some of the people know. Let Kinsey get out there and see what he's got. Prochet out there as well, Restrepo out there. give them a good chance over the next 6 games, and decide, are they going to be kept on next year? And
Especially with the
The hard part is though is when you've got an interim coach, it's hard because McCoy might not want them, but then another coach coming in might fancy Jefferson. They might think, oh, that's my kind of player. So I guess the Titans have put themselves in a difficult position having the interim coach because unless they've got somebody lined up behind the scenes already and they're talking to them, I guess it's hard kind of what to do because McCoy probably wants to help his career and improve players and do slightly better. So he's going to be a bit more selfish maybe of who he's picking. But yeah, unless they've got somebody behind the scenes. I mean, there's no rumours, is there, of the head coach role? I know it's the same names being bandied around, isn't it? There's no kind of more concrete rumours.
It's more two, isn't it? I think there's McCarthy and Nagy, I believe, are the
See,
two.
I think McCarthy will be probably seen as an expensive choice because he's an experienced coach, want more money maybe. So I think they're going to go that Nagy. He's been mentioned quite a bit, hasn't he? I think we're going to go for somebody who isn't a proven head coach, which is a bit frustrating because I think we need some experience really.
It just depends on what everything. Nagy's a good coach. He's a good coordinator. I don't think he. I can't. I don't know what his. I know he went to the Bears. I think it was. I don't think he did very well. But at that stage, the Bears were pretty bad. Um, I don't know if he did anything else before, because I think he was at Chiefs, then went to the Bears, then went back to the Chiefs. I think, um, and he seems to be a kind of a strong rumor through our Chiefs connections. But I think McCarthy just is the sensible option. He's got playoff experience. He's won the Super Bowl as a head coach. Was he head coach of Green Bay when they won the Super Bowl?
I have no idea.
But I know he's won a Super Bowl as a coach, and I just feel like he's got great. He didn't do that well at Dallas towards the end, but having said that, they were making the playoffs. I think, weren't they? They had some good seasons. They just weren't completing it going forwards. A bit like Vrabel. Had a very good team, but just couldn't finish the job. But at the end of the day,
No, exactly.
only one team, only one team can win
the job now.
Yeah. So only one team can win it. If we can get to the playoffs, that's
right
the
now.
next
That's
step,
like
isn't it?
wow, that's amazing. That's the big step we need to do, isn't it? So talking of playoffs, should we move on to? We've only got about 6 minutes left, so should we move on to the next game against the Jags at Nissan Stadium? Obviously, the Jags are 7-4 at the moment, so obviously they're in a decent position. Do we think we can beat the Jags this week?
If the defense plays a little better than they did last week, and we have the same sort of offense out there that we did on Sunday, when we could. I think now if they actually play as well as we think they can play on offense and defense at the same time, we could quite easily win 3 more games.
It would be nice to. It would be nice if we were going to win 2 more games. It'd be nice to beat the Jags twice and end their playoff hopes. It would be nice. I would like
That's
to
in a
beat
home game.
I think the one for us is we just got to beat the Browns, and I'm really worried about that game because I think they're beatable, but they've got Miles Garrett, and he's going after the record. He's got what's he got? 3, 4, 5 sacks, 6 sacks left to break the record, and we're getting given up 4, 5 sacks a game, and he's
gonna smash the record that game, isn't he?
we're just gonna get torn apart in that game. It's gonna be just a run for your life kind of game. Just get it out your hands
That's a
as quickly
game
as possible.
that Cam Ward might just need a break that week.
Yeah.
Get somebody else to take the beating for a change.
But yeah, that game will be the narrative in that game will be Sanders versus Ward. Whether to be fair, whether he sticks with Sanders, I don't know whether he's going to, and if Gabriel's going to come back and he's going to play.
I didn't see what happened yesterday, but he won, didn't he? Sanders.
won.
What was the score in the end? Do you know what the score was? I don't know, but I know they
It wasn't
won.
a very
so
high scoring game. It was 24 something,
Yeah,
12
they-
or
there was a
something.
bit of hype.
Yeah.
But his touchdown throw was literally a check down, and the running back did all the work. He checked it down 3, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and the running back took it 60 odd yards, and that basically bumped his stats up massively. But it was all down to the running back. I don't want to sound bitter, but I am. It's just I've nothing against him. I actually really like Sanders, but I just don't like how Ward's been the way Ward was treated in the draft. About there was no hype. The hype was all about Sanders. All the talk was Sanders. It kind of left a bit of a negative vibe for me. And I really liked him. I really liked Sanders. I was happy with either, to be fair. But yeah, it's just Browns and Jags are, I think, our most winnable games. Oh, actually, we've got the same. We've got someone else.
Saints, you've got the Saints as well.
Saints.
That seems a more winnable game, actually.
Yeah.
Saints don't have much of a defense.
Yeah. So we've got some winnable games now coming up. So
You don't want them, do you? You want to lose every single game.
Fingers crossed they don't lose.
I don't know. Well, they didn't win for my birthday, so maybe they can win for Christmas.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Start the new. Maybe we could just win in the new year. New year, new rules. So, yeah.
All I want for Christmas is 2 more wins.
Yeah, but just not enough to lose the #1 spot. But yeah.
So have we got any predictions for the game then?
Do you know what?
I'm going to say they're going to win.
I'm going to say they're going to win.
27-18.
James?
Score, actually.
24-12.
Ooh. I'm going to go 34-14 to the Titans.
Cool.
We're going to see some
We
points
haven't
this week.
scored that many points all season.
Well, exactly. So we've got to do it once, haven't we? Yeah, we can't be this bad forever, can we?
What, Chim for 3? DK's going to take the 3 return touchdowns.
Well, pretty much, yeah. we need something, don't we? Restrepo's going to get one as well, obviously. So, because Restrepo's going to be our man this season.
Yeah.
To be fair, it'd be nice to see Restrepo getting one, Prush but spread them out a little bit. It'd be quite nice actually, from because they've got that kind of wide receiver competition. It'd be nice for them to kind of all get a touchdown to put that pressure on.
Yeah.
I can't see that happening, unfortunately. So,
well, who would have thought? Was it week 12, week 13?
13, yeah.
So, and we've all said that Titans are going to win. That's got to be the first, surely.
That's because we're all giving
this year,
up.
yes. Hopefully, not next year.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. I think
we've all given up now. If you saw some of my TikToks last night, I think in about 3 or 4 of them, I looked quite beaten up and quite deflated. As the TikToks went along, I got more and more cheery. Well, I was sober last night, so I'm not too sure why. The first one I did, after I posted it, I thought, God, that was so miserable. It was like, I was watching it, and I think at one point I shouted, just stop him, just stop him. And I was like, oh, I was a beaten. I've tried to be so positive all season, and I think last night was the point where I just felt like, oh, this is it now. Right,
actually,
so
what
guys,
you want to see is I really want to see is a 50-yard pass completion or more, because
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I think the longest we've had is about 30 yards, isn't it? The season.
They always look longer, though, don't they? I feel like we've had that sort of yardage completion, but Cam just drops so far back and then just launches it, and then it's like it comes up and it's like, oh, that was a 29-yard pass. You're like, how was it? It threw it from halfway back.
Because he was so far back, weren't he? Yeah.
But it's obviously the line of scrimmage. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a good throw, a catch, a good long throw, a catch, and then yards after catch.
Right, and guys, we're down to the last 40 seconds, so I need to just wrap this up, unfortunately. So, guys, thanks for joining once more. James, please go off and enjoy the rest of your birthday. For anyone who's watched the podcast today, thanks for joining us. Please come along, join us TikTok, if you don't abuse me, because I get a lot of abuse on there. And also, just to add, I'm not Gary Neville, because that keeps getting bandied about. So come along, join us at TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think that's where we are, YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel. Come along, join us on a Sunday where we get our most fun on game day on Facebook. And we'll leave it there, guys. So thank you very much.
Cheers.
Brilliant. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
And stop it.